So guys, this is our new to us family car. It's a Discovery 5. It's a 2017 model. Bought it quite recently after the crankshaft in our previous Discovery 4 ate itself. So we considered fixing it, but in the end we were able to make a good trade-in deal on the old Disco 5 with the broken engine for a new one. So while it's not so much has the tractory feel of the old Discovery, it is actually quite comfortable. So as you can see, I've already mounted some crossbars for on the roof, which we'll be needing for our roof box for when we go on holidays. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install some seat risers for the second row seats, because our children complained that the seats are quite low to the ground. It's something that's quite familiar already with some of the reviews people have posted on this car. So if you look at the second row, you can see that the seats are quite low to the ground, and I've been able to buy some risers which should be able to increase the seat height by about 7 centimeters, so that at least the thigh support will be there for everybody. So if I look at if we go into the back of the car here, you can see I have the seat risers here in the boot, and if you look at them, they're quite sturdy aluminium profiles in anodized black, so they should fall away nicely against the interior of the car. Comes with stainless steel bolts, which are in here, which I'll be unpacking, and I'll show you the results in a bit. Installation. So the installation of these seat risers should be pretty straightforward, because they're bolt-in material. There's a bolt here, Torx bolt here, and when you slide the seat forward, it's quite easy. Then you can see the second bolt here. If I remove these bolts on both sides, which you see there, then I should be able to just pop the risers under it and attach the longer bolts, and it should be quite easily done. So I'll get to it. So what I'm going to do now is tilt over the seat sideways to see if I can easily slide under the seat riser. So we'll see the results in a minute. So I did make my first mistake here, because as you can see, there's a difference between the seat risers. The one on the inside have the extra hole on the inside of the chair, which is here on the for me on the left hand side, and on the right hand side of the center one. And the other ones, which I've now slid under there, both miss this small hole. So I'm going to change them out, and then hopefully it should go a bit easier. But, you know. So as you can see, I've installed on the right hand side of the car, I've installed the seat risers. As you can see, it's quite a bit higher, but before I go ahead and install the risers on the rest of the car, I made sure that my wife and kids had a test seating on both sides of the car, and the verdict was unanimous that the higher seat gave more support for the thighs, so that it was more comfortable. So now I'll start moving ahead with installing the other seat risers. So as the bolts are quite tight, or in a tight space, there's no way to get in there with a socket wrench really. However, the bolts, they are in there with Loctite, so you'll need some kind of a breaker bar, which I made or improvised with my socket set. So if I give it a good pull on this, it should come. There you go. If you just have the one, it'll probably not work, but there you go. I think if I now will be able to unscrew it pretty quickly. Removing the rear bolts, this one and this one will be a bit easier because there's a lot more space. However, on the first seat, I noticed that when I was installing the new longer bolts for the seat risers, that it was a little bit too long, so I had to shorten it using the angle grinder by about, I would say, an inch, and then it went in quite easily. So before I start unbolting the rest of the seat, I will start with my angle grinder and shorten it a bit. So as you can see, I have one of the risers lined up. All the bolts are undone, so now I'm about to lift the seat and see if I can slide it under the easiest way, because this one has the alignment holes, which you can see here, the extra ones. It's this one and the one on the other side. It's easier to install this one first, so that'll get the seat basically in place, and also it's easier to tilt the seat outwards in this direction than to tilt it the other way, because there the other seat is in the way. So I'll get going and I'll catch up with you later. So after all is done, you can see the seat risers here beneath the original seat rail. So that looks like a pretty decent, neat install. You can see them here as well. So the chair has become a bit more upright, but otherwise it's quite comfortable. And after installation, this is what the boot looks like with second and third row folded down. So as you can probably just notice, the load bay isn't completely flat anymore like it used to be without the seat risers. But that, for me, our use, is a small compromise for getting the extra height of the seat bottom. So that's it for this seat riser installation video. I hope you enjoyed it and thought it was a bit useful to you. You'll be able to find all the materials I ordered from AliExpress in the description down below. If you have any questions, pop them down there in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and see you next time.